Hello, hi guys. It's Colleen here with Chalk Couture. Coming in with an ink project tonight. I'm just going to go ahead and get my iPad going here, and then we will be ready to go. This is a cute, I call it a Santa sack. I got it from Target in their dollar find spot thing. And I actually made one of these before. It came out super cute. So I thought I would do another one. So let's go. We got that shared. We are good to go. Okay. All right. So for our cute little Santa sack here for tonight's project, I am going to it's a buffalo plaid, the red buffalo plaid, which is so cute. I love it, and it's so super soft, and it's a pretty decent size. I lifted my camera up pretty high so you guys could see the full size of this guy here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my, hello Eileen, I'm going to put my mat inside, but I wanted to show you a quick thing that that I did that I'm always saying don't do this, and I did it, and now my mat is slightly ruined. You can see what happened on the back because I forgot to take the mat out when I started to heat set it with my trusty little heat gun here, and it kind of warped my mat a little bit. I'm still going to use it. Hopefully it's going to be okay. I do need to add that to my list of things to purchase on my next go round of orders, but I'm just going to go ahead and tuck this right inside here, and we're going to kind of hope for the best. And the reason that we do this, we are putting the mat inside. How are you, Eileen? I hope you're doing well. The reason that we put the mat inside is to prevent bleed through on the other side with our ink. Plus it's sticky. And you can see how when I'm moving it around, it's like moving, it's bubbling. Oh, yeah, this is going to be pretty fun. Hopefully I can get this to work without bleeding. Oh my gosh, my fingers are crossed. I'm a little bit concerned. But I do have the other mat, and I don't want to cut it down, and it's good. It's too big to fit. So do I clean the mat? No, I don't clean my mats. As you can tell, look at all the ink I've got on here from previous projects. Can you see that? No, I don't clean my mats. You can clean the mats, not with like a disinfectant wipe. You can just clean it with water, but I have never cleaned it. I just let it dry and then just leave the ink on there to dry, and it's usually fine. So I'm just pressing down because, as I said, that the mat is sticky, so it's going to hold my my little Santa sack in place from moving, although it's got the bumps all over, so it is moving somewhat. But what better thing to put on a Santa sack than Santa? So I thought we would put him right here. Let me see. I have the Joyful Christmas, and I was thinking maybe I can get that in here too. So I might go a little bit more towards the bottom with Santa and maybe try to do Joyful Christmas across the top. Or do I want to put Santa up there? No, I think I kind of like it angled. Let's do that. We'll kind of put him towards the bottom here, and then see if we can get Joyful Christmas in, which we should be able to. So let us remove the carrier sheet from our transfer. The back of my transfer is labeled because I have used this transfer a few times. I just leave mine, I wasn't sure. I just leave it sit out, Eileen, to be honest with you, until it dries. I'll just let it sit out overnight. And then when it's dry the next night, I just put the plastic back on top of it and put it away. So that's kind of how I do it. When we are using ink, I do not fuzz my transfers. So typically we fuzz our transfers to prevent it from sticking super hard to surfaces. But because I am using ink, I want it to stick pretty good so that I don't have any potential bleed throughs. So I'm just going to kind of move him down just a little bit, just eyeballing and trying to center. Again, I'm a little concerned about this mat under here and how it's going to go when I try to smooth this paste across. But I'm going to cross my fingers and kind of hope for the best. And worst case scenario, I'm out $3 from the Target dollar. I don't know why they say Target dollar spot. Usually everything in there is $3, and I guess I answered my own question. That's probably why, because $3 is a dollar, so it's just 3 of them. That's all. All right, this, oh boy, this has me really concerned. I'm just gonna stop talking about it. I'm just gonna try it, and we're gonna see what happens. Worst case scenario, I need to get a mat sooner than I'd like to. The other option is you could put a piece of cardboard, and actually, I don't think I have a piece of cardboard here, but when you get shipments with your orders, you get a nice piece of cardboard usually in there. And I should know better and keep some of them just for this purpose. And I forgot, I threw them away. All right, I think we're on here. I'm going to stop fooling with it. I'm going to just try to get this going here. So I'm just giving my ink a quick stir. Ink typically doesn't need a stir before like chalk paste does, because the ink is a little bit of a different consistency, but I'm just trying to kind of scrape some of this off of the sides because I'm messy with my ink and my paste. So I'm trying to clean it up a little bit and get that ink all off the sides here. I'm just going to throw my little stick in my pan of water that's off to the side, and then we're just going to go for it. I'm using my small squeegee. I'm going to get a good amount on here because this is going to take a good amount. And then if I took too much, I can always put it back into my jar. Just want to check one more time that I've got a nice tight seal. I think I'm just going to kind of go from this side, and then where that bump comes in, then I'll just kind of go over there. So let's start over here first. And I am literally just going to go in one direction with my ink. I've been noticing that even though I've seen people do it in 2 directions and it's okay, I've just been kind of leaning towards going in one direction with the ink, just as an extra, just in case, so that I don't have any bleed through. So that actually took a pretty good amount on my first go around, because Santa's pretty big. And then we're just gonna, I'm just hopeful that these bumps are okay. Yeesh. I don't know, guys. We'll see. Alright. I'm going a little heavy just because I want to make sure, because it is a darker surface behind. So I'm going just a little heavy on my ink to make sure it truly comes through onto the black and red and white checker here. Almost to the bottom, and I've got ink all over my fingers. That's okay. It does come off. No worries about that. But just be careful like I just did. Ooh, that was close. I almost touched. Oh, I did touch a little bit. Had a little drop of ink on my finger and I almost touched the bag. So just be careful if you're touching outside of the transfer area. Typically when I'm done putting all the ink on here, I usually check my fingers to make sure I don't have any ink. There we go. I'm just trying to get this bottom piece down here. There we go. I think we got them all covered now. I'm just going over just to make sure I didn't miss any spots. Feel like it looks okay. Alrighty, I'm going to get all that back into my jar, any leftovers that I had on my squeegee. And you can see I've got it on my fingers, so I'm going to grab a paper towel, clean that off real quick. Just a little spritz of water on a paper towel. And then I'm going to get that ink off my fingers before I touch anything. Okay, I know I had some over here. Okay, perfect. Just a little wet paper towel and the ink's gone. Alright, fingers are crossed. Let's hope that my ink mat didn't ruin this. Remember to apply even pressure when you're pulling the transfer off. Yay! He came out perfect. Okay, my transfer is going right into my pan of water that's off to the side here. I usually put it down, ink side or chalk side down into the water. Let me grab a paper towel now that my fingers are all wet. Can you see him? He looks so cute on here. How adorable. Now this time, oops, let me move my ink. This time I'm going to remember to take my mat out before I dry. So I'm just going to put my hand in here as a barrier between the surface and the mat so that I can just slide it right out like that. Look how good he looks on there. Perfect. So the warping in the mat didn't really do anything, but I definitely think that in the future I'm probably not going to use that mat anymore. I'm just going to get a new one or use a piece of cardboard. So we're just going to dry this for a few. This will not heat set it. This is only drying the ink on here so that we can heat set it. You want to make sure that your ink is good and dry before you either use a heat press or use an iron on it. If you use an iron, you should put a piece of parchment paper down between the transfer and the iron, and that would be heat set on medium heat for 4 minutes on the front and turn it inside out. I put the parchment paper in between the layers and then iron on the back side as well for 4 minutes. I think I might try to get Joyful Christmas in here as well. Hey, Jessica Douglas Wilson. We did Santa on a Santa sack. How fun is that? I cannot wait to put some Christmas presents in these guys. Okay, let me just test a non-conspicuous area. Still feels slightly, yep, still slightly tacky, yep. See how it came up on my fingers? I'm just going to use my wet paper towel to get rid of that. That is not dry, guys. Not dry at all. So, I definitely would like to heat set that a little bit more. I'm going to just see if I can get the Joyful Christmas in here without touching. I think that I can. Okay, I think I'm good. I think I'll be able to get it in here without touching the bottom. So let's get this on, and then we can completely dry everything. And this should not touch Santa at all. Okay, perfect. Now, the only thing is I took my mat out, so I'm going to just stick that in the top real quick. Then we shall, oh, you know what? I have a little piece of that mat, so let me grab that. So that way I don't need to worry about messing up the bottom. So I had actually just cut down a piece of the mat. And Eileen, remember how we were saying how I don't clean my mats? Look at all the projects on here. It's still sticky, still good to go, no worries, but I'm only going to just use this piece just up right here at the top. So I don't have to try to put that whole big mat back in again. There we go. Okay, again, I did not fuzz because I want to have a nice tight seal. Okay, let's grab our ink again and finish this guy off, and then we can heat set it, or make it dry I should say, with the iron, oh my gosh, let me start that all over again. We can dry it with the heat tool, and then the final step will be to use the parchment paper and an iron to heat set it. That's what I am trying to say, goodness gracious. Okay. And remember, we only need to be worried about the silkscreen area. That's all that we need to put our ink across. Don't need to worry about the teal sections. Just making sure that I have everything covered all the way from the tippy tops of my letters all the way down to the bottom. And everything looks like it's covered. Getting a little bit of excess back off. I'm making it this a little thick as well, just so it kind of stands out and doesn't get muted by the dark colors in the background here. Okay, and here we go. Fingers crossed again. Okay, ready? We're gonna rip it like a Band-Aid. There we go. I love that. How sweet is that? Let me just put this over here. I'm going to stick that to my desk because my pan is pretty full with Santa he took up my whole water pan. Oops, I almost did it again. Take that mat out. And let's dry this. Aww, thanks for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. This did come out stinking cute, didn't it, Jess? Love it. I'm just going to get my ink covered over here. I don't want my dryer to dry out my ink. We've got that covered. I think I might use this for Pollyannas this year. What do you think? Not the secret Pollyanna, for like our family Pollyanna. To put the presents in here. I think that would be really cute. Thanks, Eileen! I'm really happy with how this came out. I really, really like it a lot. I better have you. I can't tell you who has you, Jess. But if I did, wouldn't that be awesome for you to be getting this little Joyful Christmas Santa set? Alrighty. So, as I mentioned, because it's like watching water boil, you know, with me drying pieces of ink here. So, I'm just going to, say again, the final step after this is good and dry, because this is still just slightly tacky. I'm going to let this sit. And then the final step is, like I said, that parchment paper, iron it for 4 minutes. On the front side, stick the parchment paper in between when you flip it inside out, and iron on the back for 4 minutes. And thanks, Mary. And then that will be completely heat set. So I wanted to do this project from beginning to end, so I explained the transfers, writing on the back, stirring our ink, or mostly we stir our paste, but I did stir my ink tonight. We put our transfer on, no fuzzing when it's on an ink project, but fuzz your transfer when you're using it with different surfaces, especially glass and mirrors and things like that, where the surface will really stick to it. And especially if it's a brand new transfer, you really want to make sure you fuzz that. Unless it's a brand new transfer and you're inking with it on cloth of some kind, a shirt or a Santa sack like this, then I still wouldn't fuzz it. So now the final step, now we've got our project done. Pretend that he's ironed, pretend that he is good to go and finished. Now we need time to clean up, right? So let's show you guys the cleanup process, which is pretty dang easy. So I'm just going to move my little tray over here to the side so I have some room. I'm going to put my towel over here, and I had, like I said, my transfer sitting in my pan of water with the ink side down. And that actually helps to get some of that ink out of there just sitting in the water. But I'm using the bottom of the pan to kind of smush it down to get some of the ink out. And then what we do, and I'm going to flip it whoops, because my pan is a little small. Now that my transfer's wet, no worries, it's not going to stick to itself. So here's where our handy dandy board eraser comes into play. So not only is this tool perfect for cleaning your transfers, but it's also great for getting rid of any ghosting that you may have on your chalkboard. So it's like a twofer. It's like a multi-purpose tool. It's kind of, hey, it's like our multi-tool. Almost like that, except for it's a multi-sponge. So it's got a couple uses for it. And we're just getting all that ink out of there. And then I'm going to plop this right onto my towel with the sticky side up. And then I'm just going to use that board eraser on the back side now. Get all that ink off of the back here. And that is all there is to it. We just let that dry. And that is it. Let's grab the piece, the Joyful Christmas that I had. I just stuck it to my desk so I could fit it in here after I got my Santa out. So we're just going to try to get that ink out. Same process. Just going to use that board eraser to get all that ink off. I even use it to get it off my hands. Perfect. Now, a helpful hint is if you notice that your transfer is starting to lose its sticky, that's when I would then clean it with the disinfectant wipe. And then let it dry. So then that would be the last step. But only if you're finding that your transfer is kind of starting to lose its stickiness. Otherwise, this is really all you need to do to clean, just to make sure that whole silkscreen area is cleaned out. Let's try to get a little more room here on my towel. Santa is hogging up my whole towel. He's got to move over a little bit. And then we'll use this to clean off our tools. Put that to the side. And I know I have a little stirry stick. There we go. And there we go. I will let this set on my towel to dry overnight as well. And then typically what I do as a final step, let me slide these guys over here so they're right in view of the camera. Dry my hands off real quick. So we're just getting that ink off the back of this one now. And that is it. They are good to go. Now my final step. I just kind of help the drying process along a little bit. And I just wanted to make sure. I was like, what the heck is that white? I know I cleaned the ink off. It was the tag on my towel. Silly. I just use a paper towel just to really get the back of that nice and clean. Clean off my squeegees. Put those back. And then here is where, when we label the back of our transfer, this is where this comes back into play. Just checking to make sure I've got a little bit of ink still on my fingers. I want to get that off. And that ink and paste comes right off with water, so no worries, and it'll come right out of your clothes unless you're intending to ink your clothes and you heat set it, then it's not coming out. But if you accidentally get some chalk or ink on your clothes, it'll come out in the wash. So, Santa layer 2, because this is actually the second layer for Santa. He's got 2 layers for when you're doing it on a chalkboard. But when I'm doing it on a surface like a t-shirt or canvas or my little Santa sack, I just use the second layer. That's really all you need. But the first layer looks adorable when you layer it on a chalkboard. So, shiny side, meet sticky side. And we know because we labeled the back Santa layer 2, that's how we know paper side. We do not want to accidentally put that on there because then Santa might not come back off. So we have to be very, very careful. And the first thing that you do when you have your brand new transfer is to label it so we don't forget. Take it from me because I've done it. When I first joined, I did it with the transfer. So just trying to save you from losing any of your precious transfers. Just match it up. Push down. Voila. He is on there. Oh, I missed a little bit of ink up there. He's on there. If you have any little bubbles in here, you can just pull down and stretch back out. And that is it. He is good to go and ready to use again and again on many different projects. Just use this last piece to put that on here. Get him a little off. Oh, that's good. And that is it. We will bring our Santa sack. I've got some bubbles in here, so we'll just fix that. I'll bring my Santa sack back up here to show you guys the finished piece. And then I'm going to go off camera and dry that some more because I don't want you guys to have to suffer through listening to a hairdryer for the next 5 minutes. And once I dry it, then I will iron it, and it will be great to go for our Pollyanna, for me to put my Pollyanna gift inside here. So here's our cute little Santa sack, guys. How adorable is that? And it's a really nice size too. It'll fit some really cute things inside here. So that's it for me tonight. So I thank you so much for watching. And if you are not a designer and you are not in my VIP group, I have some pretty stinking amazing specials going on right now. I just posted before I came live a really good one. So I hope that if you are not in my VIP group and you would like to be, I would be happy to add you there. Just type VIP below. If you are interested in purchasing this amazing transfer or any of our inks or multi-tools or anything like that, I'm going to put the link to my online store below. And last but certainly not least is my favorite. If you are interested in becoming a designer, just type join below, and I have an opportunity Facebook page where I have posts on everything that there is to know about becoming a designer, and I would be happy to add that to you. I would be happy to add you to that. There we go. That was a mouthful. All right, guys, I'm done. See ya. Have a great night.